Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been such a long time. How are y'all doing? I hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all missed me a little bit. It's been like 2 months. So sorry about the absence, but we are going to discuss it in this episode. Going to give y'all a little life update, kind of tell y'all where I've been, why I've been there, and where I'm going. So I would say to get yourself a little snack. Get a little snack, get a little beverage. Let's have a conversation as you'll hear about I wouldn't say it's crazy, but crazy life. So, why have I been gone for 2 months? Really and truly, it's because of school. I would have started this podcast in January. January? Yes, I think it was January. With my first introductory episode. Kind of right in the middle, or at least right before school started. And I was like, okay, yeah, once I prioritize my time, manage my time well, it's going to be okay to put out just an episode at least a month. And if I get extra time, I can do an additional episode, all that good stuff. I lied to myself. Like, the rubber hit the road in the middle of the semester, and I was just like, I don't have the time to record an episode. Things got so hectic. My procrastination got the best of me. And school really got in the way of me recording episodes, even just finding time to record. And I actually recorded an episode for March, but I didn't like it because I feel like I didn't express the point as I should. I felt like I didn't explain the point well. The episode wasn't giving, it was actually taking away. And I didn't even know how to brainstorm the topic that I wanted to discuss. And it was almost like I had writer's block. Let's say podcaster's block. And I didn't even know what I wanted to talk about. Like, I knew what I wanted to talk about, but not what I wanted to talk about, if you know what I mean. But I can sit here now and say that the semester is over, and not only is the semester over, but my whole university bachelor's degree experience is over. Let's have a round of applause for that in itself. Like, I am finished with my degree. How crazy is that? I can't remember if I mentioned it in like my introductory episode that I was talking about myself, but I was doing a bachelor's degree in psychology, and I was trying to minor in communication studies. I believe that still is a thing, but I'm not really too sure how university works in that regard. But major in psychology, minor in communication studies, and I'm finally finished. I'm recording this a week after my last quiz. Oh, I'm so happy I'm done. I'm so happy to finally be done with it. It's been 3 long years, especially during the pandemic and all of that. It's been 3 long years, but I am glad that I am finished with it. And I've learned so much over the past 3 years and about myself because I really couldn't learn much about other people because I was home by myself for most of the time. But I've learned so much about myself, and I've grown a lot in these 3 years, I would say. And for me, university was okay, it was fine. I won't sit here and say that it was extremely difficult for me. I think I made it difficult for myself. I tend to procrastinate a lot, and that's kind of why I wasn't even able to record an episode, plan out episodes, record episodes, post them, because I procrastinate so much unwillingly. It's just that when I anticipate something being a lot of work, I'm just kind of like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like, I really don't want to do this. But then it's due the next day and I have to do it. So a lot of the times, a lot of my assignments, it would be like 3 days before the assignment is due. I'm trying to work on it. And the first of the 3 days, I'm sleeping half the day. I'm not motivated. I don't even know where to start with the assignment. The second day, I'm like, Faith, this is actually due tomorrow. And I'm just like, oh my Lord, how am I going to do all this work by tomorrow? And then I get like this drive and this push of just, let's just do it. And then I get distracted and it's not finished, and I still have majority of it to get done. And then it's the day that it's due, and up to like the last minute, not the last minute, I always give myself a good amount of time, but the last minute technically, I'm doing the assignment, trying to finish it up and submit and all of that. But thankfully, all of that is over. I still wake up some mornings like, Faith, you have things to do. You need to get up. And I'm just like, aha, no, I don't. I have nothing to do. All I have to do, really, as of right now, is focus on my podcast, personal growth, and all those different things. And I don't have to get up. I don't have to be up by 8 a.m. to do so. Although I kind of can't sleep later than 8 because I feel like the day is running away from me. But I don't have to rush to get up and do something. I have something due tonight and all of those different. Like, I don't have that anymore. That is just not something that I have to factor in. And I'm so grateful. God knows. God knows. It's been 17 years almost, give or take, of me being in school constantly full time. I've never actually like worked anywhere, no summer job or anything. I've literally just been in school, vacation, back to school, vacation, back to school since I've been in preschool. And I think that's why this degree is kind of a big milestone for me, finishing it up, because now I'm completely entering the world of work. Oh my. I'm completely entering adulthood because, yeah, I've been an adult. I'm 21, turning 22 this year, but I'm actually going to start working. So, adulting is going to be a little bit more in my face now. It's something that I'm going to have to deal with a lot more. And I'm so excited to enter this new era of Faith Walker, because it really is a new era. I don't want to say the only person I know is this Faith whose head is always in a school book, because my head was never always in a school book. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Am I an overachiever? Someone may say so, yes. Do I want to graduate with a 4.0 GPA? Yes. And I'm hoping by some weird stretch of the imagination that is possible. Do I see like 75% as not an okay grade for myself? Yes, I do. However, my head not always in a book. Really and truly, my head always out of a book. And I just kind of go with the grace of God, I work hard, don't get me wrong. When I want to study, I study, but I can't be that head always in a book, pulling all-nighters. No, I don't think I was ever able to, at least during the pandemic, to pull an all-nighter. Like, I just can't, because my motto is go to bed. Go to bed, because it doesn't make sense you stay up all night, whether it is, I would say, for studying. If you're doing an assignment, and you're up all night and it's just to submit it like the next day, that's one thing. But when you're studying for an exam, say the exam is a Wednesday and you pull on all night a Tuesday because you didn't get a chance to study, that doesn't really help you, because no matter how much you crammed for that exam the Tuesday night, you're going to be too tired to remember the information the day after anyway. So I always say, go to bed. Go to bed. you know? And that's kind of been my philosophy throughout this whole university experience. I cannot remember how I got here. My brain went blank there for a minute. But yeah, I'm kind of excited to explore myself, Faith Walker, outside of school. Actually, going to a workplace and meeting different people, because I'm not a very sociable person. I may sound like you see me somewhere and I'll be like, oh my gosh, hi, how are you? Oh my gosh, so excited. I'm not. I'm really not. Depending on who you are, I might try to avoid eye contact so we don't have to have an interaction, even if I know you. And then I'll tell, if I'm with my sister, I'll be like, hey, I know that person, but I'm excited. When I started university, I was like, Faith, I think this will be a really fun time for you to meet new people, make some friends. You know what I mean? You know, any movies, they always have their college besties. I'm just like, ooh, what if I'm your college friend? And I didn't really. The only time I really started to find people who I can be friends with was really in my final year. It sounds so sad, and that always happens to me. I might spend 6 years somewhere, and it's in the last month of the 6 years I'll make all the friends. And I'm just like, horse, where were they earlier on in the 6 years? And of course, being online played a factor as well, because you could only go so far with a WhatsApp friendship. You know what I mean? Especially not being able to go out anywhere and all those different stuff. And I really started I was like, okay, Faith, we're gonna be outgoing and all of that. It wasn't successful for me because after a while I got kind of tired, and I really enjoyed walking through the campus alone and just, if I want to pick up and run down the road, I could run down the road if I want to, you know. But I was still open to friendships, although I was very terrified. And that kind of got halted when the pandemic started. There was kind of no opportunity for me to make friends, find new people, interact with other people in a face-to-face setting. I still made some friends though. Shout out to those friends in the event that y'all are listening. Y'all know yourselves. But when I enter the world of work, it'll be much different, and I'm excited to meet people with different backgrounds and all of that stuff. And it's just really exciting for me to like make friends. I don't know. Listen, I used to get teased in school and be like, you really like friends. I really like friends. I really like friends. I don't have plenty, and I'm very content with not having plenty friends, but I would also like to know some more people. Even if we're not buddy, even if we're not good friends, good buddy buddies, I at least want to know different people and be like, hey, how you going? You good? Nice, great, cool. And I think actually leaving university, entering the world of work, almost entering the world, because being in online school for the past 2 years, I feel and have felt a bit isolated from the world at large, because genuinely the only place that I've been going to is home, church, home, church, home, church, home. And it's like, all the people in church, I know them already. And especially during the lockdown, it didn't necessarily have people in church. It was just, people who were trying to stream the service, bishop, etc. So it wasn't like there was anybody new for me to meet. It was like just going to a next house. It was like going to your next home, And it made me feel so isolated from the real world. But entering the world of work, actually being in public for more hours in the day than I spend at home, it's gonna be interesting. Am I terrified? Yes. Am I terrified? Definitely. But am I super excited? Yes. I am so excited to just get out there and, run through the public and just be like, hi, my name is Faith, and yours. I'm really not gonna do that because I'm very shy. But maybe somebody could run up to me and be like, hi, my name is so and so, what's yours? And I'll be like, oh, hi, my name is Faith, and then we chop it up a little bit and I make a friend. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. And I wanted to encourage anybody, just a small encouragement. To anybody who is still in university with years to go, I promise you, the end is right there. You're not even going to realize when the end is near. I couldn't believe, while I was super excited, I couldn't believe that I was in my final year of university, because it felt like just yesterday I started. Even when I started this last semester, I was just like, how am I in the last semester of my degree? I just started this degree yesterday, and to be finished now, it's just like that time flew by so quickly, like so quickly. And maybe it could be because I was online, so the routine was basically the same every day, but at the same time, it flew by. And to anybody who is still in university and you feel so discouraged and you're just like, listen, I don't want to be here anymore. I would like to leave tonight. I want to just leave, like just drop all the face of the earth. I'm not registering. Why is that car so loud? Anyways, I'm not even registering for any courses next year because I am done. They're not gonna see me forget my name, take my name out your registry. Just hang in there. It's gonna come to an end soon, and you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, where did the time go? So just enjoy the present, enjoy the assignments, enjoy the stress that you get from doing assignments, enjoy the pure bliss of maybe meeting other people and interacting with people and content, information, articles, ideas that you've never interacted with before, and just keep holding on, hold the faith. Pun not intended. No pun intended. Wow, I forgot that phrase completely. But no pun intended. Hold the faith. And I promise you, when y'all are finished, we're all gonna celebrate. Maybe we'll have a virtual party and we will just have a celebration. We just have food, drinks, everything, music, everything. And we'll have a good time and we'll celebrate the end of an era, because university is an era in your life. But all I would say is to just enjoy it, and enjoy it. So, kind of closing off that university chapter. As I said, I'm entering the workforce, leaving full time academia after like 17 years. And this is a season where I'm going to learn so much about myself, because I have a lot of different things to focus on. Because when I was finished, or at least like a little while before I was finished, I was like, Faith, when you start to work, right, you're not necessarily going to have to bring anything. Well, depending on where I work, I'm assuming, but I'm not going to have to bring anything home. Like, they're not going to give me homework every day. So when I get home from work, like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? Like, it's almost like I have spare time. I leave home, go to work, come back when work is finished, and it's like I'm on my time. I could do something that I enjoy, and I feel like having that flexibility, if you want to call it that, in life is going to allow me to learn a lot of new things about myself, a lot of new things about my brain, maybe start up some new ventures, not necessarily public, not, gonna start a business or anything, but, start up little activities in my life, try out different things that I've wanted to try out for so long. Like, I really want to get into soap making. I started watching a soap maker on YouTube during the pandemic, and I'm just like, I want to do that. I find that so pretty. I find it so cute, and I want to make soap. I want to give everybody a soap at every gift giving celebration, and I want them to be like, Faith, thanks, but I still have soap from last year, and I'm just like, that's okay. Just store it up. I want to get into soap making. I want to advance my podcast. There's just so many things that I want to do and I want to try and I want to see if I like and all this different stuff. And I feel like this new season of workplace faith is going to allow me to do that. And in the weeks before my last semester wrapped up, I kind of came to terms with something in my life. It prompted something that I call countdown to 25. So, for those who are close to me, they understand why 25 and not 24 or 23 or 22 or 27. My mother kind of, I don't know if admonition is the right word, but she had a something that made 25 a little bit more of a significant, made it more of a significant age for me, because it really wasn't like 25 was 25, but now 25 is 25. And at first, when she explained, you could say, her point of view, or at least her idea, or whatever you want to call it, I was very unsettled about it. I was unsure. I was just like, what? How could you? Like, how could you do this to me? Like, how am I going to survive until 25? Like, I am 21, turning 22. Do you know how many years until 25? And it's like, I felt, initially, I felt like I was alone in the situation because my sister turned 25 this year. Did she? If I'm turning 22, 22 plus 3. Yeah, she turned, she turned 25 this year. My elder sister turned 25 long time. And it's like, I am the only one who is not 25 yet. And I feel like I'm the only one who's having to go through this and deal with this. And I am having a problem with it. I felt alone in the situation. I felt really alone in it. And it made me worry, it made me stressed. I even told her, I was like, that way you said it really stressed me out. Yeah, stressed me out. But there's something that my sister, the youngest of the two older ones, said a long time ago that has stuck with me, and I take heed to it all the time. God gave us the parents that we have for a reason. You may fight with your parents all the time. You may disagree with your parents' behavior a lot of the times. You and your parents, or there might be rabs in right now as I'm speaking, but God gave us the parents that we have for a reason. No matter the circumstance, no matter how negative the situation may be, how toxic the situation may be. I'm not saying that my mother's toxic. She's the most lovely person ever, and I will fight for that lady, period. Anyways, but no matter the situation, they're there for a reason. Whether it's a lesson, whether it's whatever, but your parents are there for a reason. And I hold on to that wholeheartedly. And I believe that my mother is my mother for a reason. And the things that she says, the things that she puts in place are things that are divinely inspired. And that's one thing. My mother is a pastor, right? If I never mentioned that before, my mother is a pastor. And if I believe nothing else about her, I know that she prays. I know that she prays. She may not tell me, but I know that she prays. Half of the people who I've spoken to in the past and it didn't work out and all of that stuff, nobody has to tell me that my mother wasn't praying. I'm not going to say that she was praying against it, right? In one situation, I feel like she was praying against it, because I find when I told her we weren't speaking anymore, I find her face lit up a little bit too much for my personal liking. But that's a discussion for another day. But I know that she prays, and I know that she's divinely guided by God, and I have to trust my mother in that regard. So when she said that while I was so downtrodden and I was so stressed about it. I was like, you know what? God, she said this for a reason. She has this concept, although very far fetched to the everyday man, for a reason. It's all in place for a reason. Hi guys, editing Faith here. I forgot to mention a little tidbit which I thought was important, so I'm just kind of slipping it in here. But when I came to terms with what my mother said, her admonition, her suggestion, although it wasn't really a suggestion, I saw it as me just being obedient to my mother and God honoring my obedience, because it's not like she was telling me to do something that I knew in my heart was wrong, or something that I knew in my heart would destroy me and just kill me out. Like, I knew it wasn't anything bad. It just didn't seem good to me because of where my focus was, what I was focused on. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to be obedient to my mother, the person that you placed in my life to guide me in every situation. And all I can hope and pray for is that you honor my obedience, and I will see the fruit of it later on. And I'm going to just use this time to better myself and work on myself and just become a better person. But we'll discuss that a little later on in the episode. So let's get back to that. And when I came to terms with it, I was like, you know what, Lord? I'll hold out till 25. I will maintain my focus until 25. Right? I will hold the faith until 25. And when I came to that conclusion, I was just like, the next 3 years of my life are going to be about personal development, personal growth, personal. It's just gonna be personal. It's gonna be about me and my God, you know? And my aim in the next 3 years is to just be the best person that I can be. Grow into the person that I want to be. So now I have almost like a list of certain goals that I want to accomplish before I turn 25. I may not see the full completion of the goal by the time I'm 25, but my focus is in that direction. I'm guiding where I would like to go in the next 3 years, if that makes sense. So there's certain things that I want to better in myself, of course. But specific goals, I can even tell you all the goals because it's not something not something too personal to me or something that I'm hiding per se. But one of the goals is to really work on this podcast. I've been on a hiatus for 2 months, now returning, and I really want this podcast to evolve, develop, and just grow into something absolutely beautiful. When I think about this podcast and I think about all that this podcast can do, the people that this podcast can reach, it almost makes me emotional sometimes because I know that this podcast could be something big, and it really takes that dedication and that consistency. And I feel like sometime this week, I think it was this morning, I read a little devotional, and it spoke about being fishers of men and how God has made us fishermen for his people, and likened the experience of people going out to catch actual fish to believers and Christians going out to win souls for the kingdom. And I think it spoke about being consistent and dedicated and having that patience, because you don't go out and as soon as you touch the water you catch a fish and you go home. It's a waiting game almost. And when I read that this morning, I said, I really feel like this can be linked towards my podcast. I feel like I just have to stay dedicated, stay consistent, and be patient in the midst of it. The growth is going to come. I just have to be patient with it. People's lives are going to be blessed. People's lives are going to be blessed, and I may not even know. Because, of course, they don't message me, they don't, tell me. But I know people's lives will be blessed. And I think that's what's important in the midst of the whole thing. So, in the next 3 years, I really want my podcast to continuously grow. I want my equipment inventory to grow. I want my setup, everything to just be elevated. I want eventually to bring on guests to my podcast. I have a couple people in mind, not like official people. Like, I'm not trying to get the prime minister onto my podcast, but there are some of my friends who I know y'all will be blessed by. And I want to bring them onto my podcast and have a conversation, actually have a dynamic with someone else while I'm talking on the podcast, so that maybe even more people could be blessed, more people could connect with the podcast content and all those different things. I just really see the podcast going places, and that's something that I want to put into place in the next 3 years. I'm not saying that I'm going to be the best podcaster out and I'm going to have billions of people listening to my podcast by the time I'm 25. However, I'm going to grow exponentially. I believe I'm using that word in the right context. But I'm going to continuously grow, and the growth is going to be evident by the time the 17th of November 2025. I'm going to be able to identify the growth in my podcast, especially from this episode go onward. I'm going to be able to see the growth in my podcast, and I'm so excited to get into that and to get into just that new realm and that new era of faith talk and all of that. And another goal of mine, let me see, which one do I want to talk about first? Let me talk about my ministry, because it kind of links with the podcast. The podcast is part of my ministry. However, to those of you who don't know, I enjoy singing, and I sing a lot. Not necessarily. I used to sing a little bit more, but I sing a lot in church. And it's something that I am so passionate about. And I'm so passionate about it. Like a couple of days ago, I was listening to worship songs, and just gospel music in general on YouTube. And I'm just like, there are not enough days of church. There are not enough services where I sing for me to sing all of the songs that I want to sing. Like, there's definitely not enough. There's just not enough days, because there's so many songs that bless me that I want to sing in order to bless others. But I don't sing every service. Would I love to? Maybe, maybe not. But I don't sing every service. We don't have service every day of the week. And there's a lot of songs that I just want to sing and minister to people, lead people in worship, just do a special ministration with it. Like, there's just so much that I want to do. There are not enough days, people. There are not enough days, I tell myself. So I really want to just grow my ministry, even if it's actually just recording songs and putting them up on Instagram for people to be able to peruse and listen to in their spare time, and they need a little pick me up. They could listen to me singing, like all those different stuff. Something to just advance my ministry, and in me advancing my ministry, I also mean advancing my voice, developing my voice, bettering my voice. Because yeah, of course, my voice is okay, but there's always a little bit better. Working on breath control, pitch, all those different things. Just really working on my craft, working on my instrument, so that when I go out to minister to people, I can really do it to the best of my ability, and I could do it with precision. I could do it with grace, class, and all those other words. And just really get into that. And something that I think would really help my ministry personally, this is just for me, is doing what my church has, which is School of Ministry. I'm planning to do that in this September coming. And I expect while I go through that to really learn more about ministry in itself and apply those things to my ministry so that it can go to the next level. You know, I wanted to just be another tool in my tool belts to help with everything. It's going to help my podcast. It's going to help my singing. It's just going to help everything in my life. And I'm just so excited to dive into that in September, get through that. You will definitely see information on that. I wouldn't say information, but you will definitely see the fruits of that, because when I graduate, it's gonna be a big thing for me, okay? Y'all are gonna see it on Instagram. And even while it's going to help my ministry, I believe it's also going to help my personal walk with God. I believe that while I am content or comfortable with my walk right now, there's definitely places to go. And one thing that I am going to be working on, especially in the next 3 years, is trust. Trust. It is so hard for me to just let go and let God. It's easy for me to tell other people, and it's easy for me to tell myself, just let go and let God. But it is so hard to actually follow through and to actually do it. It's something that I am really struggling with. I'm working on it. It's getting better. But in the next 3 years, I want my trust to skyrocket. I want to have trust like never before. And that's something that I really want to get into in the next 3 years. And I want to just better my overall connection with God. I want to be able to hear his voice much clearer. To be able to distinguish his voice, to be more obedient to his voice when I hear his voice, to level up my discernment in situations, especially when it comes to people, because it's easy for me to get clouded and to not know and to be unsure about people, when sometimes it's just to trust that first feeling of discernment. It's just to trust it and to just move with it. And even in terms of reading my Bible and all these different things, I really just want to get into a next level of my Christian walk, a next level of just getting closer to God and almost being one with him. Because I'm kind of considering this countdown to 25 like an exact period of time where I call my single season. Me saying that might hint to y'all what my mother said about 25 and all of that, but I'm considering this moment here where I am not attached to anybody. I am not with anybody. I am not looking for any. I'm looking for anybody, but I'm not looking. I hope you all understand. I'm looking, but I'm not looking. Nobody. If you're listening to this, do not message me, please. But, yeah, I'm not looking for anybody. I'm really not looking for any relationship with anybody. My focus is on the Stargale Faith Walker. I'm using this time to just really get closer to him and to connect with him. Because you always hear pastors and preachers and all the inspirational people, they always say that when you're single, it's a time when you can really be closest to God, if you want to call it that, or at least like that's when you can really devote a lot of your time to God himself and to bettering your connection with him and your relationship with him, because there's nothing else trying to steal your attention. There's nobody else's feelings that you have to take into consideration. It's not like you're married and you have to study your husband, you have to study maybe children. It's a different dynamic when you are just single, alone, and just being able to seek God wholeheartedly. Because when you are single, if you want to spend 10 hours in praise and worship where you are just not moving, you're just in one position, that's okay. But maybe when you're married, you can't seek God in the same way because you have to study. Okay, maybe I have to cook for my family. Maybe I have laundry to do for my family. Maybe there are certain things that my family and I have to do that don't allow for me to spend 10 hours prostrating before the Lord in worship. And that's why I think in our single seasons, we really have to buckle down, maybe stop searching all over the place and just buckle down and connect with God because we're never going to have this moment again. You know, whenever we decide to get married, if we decide to get married, it's not going to be the same as right now. We're not going to have the same we're not going to have the same time, the same energy, the same anything to seek God like we can right now, especially if we're young. Like, I think most of the people who listen to me are around my age, maybe even a little bit younger. Like, when they say to enjoy your youth, I think they mean enjoy your youth in Christ. Enjoy your youth and your singleness, because when you get older and you get married and all of that, like, it's gonna be different. People always say, oh, when I became a new mom, I had no time for myself and I couldn't even brush my hair before I started the day. And it's almost the same thing when it comes to your relationship with God. Maybe you are accustomed to waking up, saying a prayer for as long as you want, reading your Bible, listening to worship, reading your Bible again, doing a devotional book. But maybe when you get married and you have children, that's not going to be possible. Because now you must get up every hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to feed a baby. Which one of those waking ups are you going to stop and do your long prayer, read your Bible twice, listen to worship? When are you going to fit in that time where you just cancel out everybody else around you? Because by the time, maybe if you pray very long, I pray very long sometimes. Maybe after you pray so long, it's probably time to feed the baby again, or the baby is up crying and something is wrong with the child, and you can't even read the Bible yet because the child crying. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, your time is going to be split up between a lot of different places. So right now, when you really don't have to divide your time that much, devote yourself to God. And that's really my aim and plan in the next 3 years, to just devote myself to God, not allow any distractions to come up, because I could be distracted so easily, especially when it comes to relationships, marriage, and all of that stuff. Because if I've never said it before, I don't think I have, but marriage is something that I have a very big desire for. I have identified it as almost a very unhealthy desire, almost, because it's almost like I idolize this marriage and, getting married and all that different stuff, to the point where I would lose focus on my God-given purpose for the purpose of marriage, if you get what I'm saying. And I remember this is so chaotic, but when things started opening up and, like, I was actually leaving home a little bit more, and my sister had gotten her car, and we were a little bit more mobile than usual. Every time I went outside, say we would just be going to Pennywise, I'd be like, oh my gosh, what if my future husband is somewhere there? And I'll be standing up in Long Circular Mall, maybe waiting to go into Pennywise, and I'm just like, oh my god, what if my future husband is looking at me right now? And it got to the point where it was just unnecessarily obsessive, and I was just like, Faith, could you relax yourself, please? Could you relax yourself? Take it down a couple notches. Like, that is not the most important thing in your life right now. There is so many things to do. Mind you, that was while I was doing a degree. I had assignments, quizzes, group projects to be worried about, but I am studying that my future husband may see me in Long Circular Mall. That's not good enough. that is not good enough. I mean, yeah, I would say it's okay if you think about it, just randomly like, hey, my future husband might be somewhere, nice. But when it takes over your brain and it's like all you can think about, that's when it reaches a toxic level. And it's almost like you need to watch yourself. You need to watch yourself before you wreck yourself. I don't know if that's the exact line, but roll with me. And that's where I got to. And I have decided, and I've been praying for a while now, to kind of help me to just not obsess over that. Like, that will come in time, and I don't want that to be my only life goal. I want to have so many other goals. I want to do so many other things, and I don't want getting married to be my ultimate life goal, because that is not the purpose that God put in my heart. The purpose that um makes my bones tingle and causes my blood to just rush everywhere in my body is not to get married. It really isn't. Like, I have identified that. I think about my purpose sometimes, and I think about how I want to get into ministry, and I want to be all over the place, I want to be all over the country, just singing and leading people in worship, and that gets me so excited. And that's my purpose. My purpose on this earth is not to get married. Like, that's that's not what God placed me on this earth to do. That is not what He placed me on the earth to do. And sometimes I get clouded by that, and anything not anything. I'm very particular, very specific. My friends know I have specific criteria. But if you pass the criteria, I'm beginning to be like, I want to, maybe you're my future husband. It's like, whoa. And then all of a sudden I'm thinking about a future with you, and I am slowly drifting away from my relationship with God. I'm slowly drifting away from my routine with God, and I don't even notice, because why? All I'm studying is, you may be my future husband. Like, Lord, is he my future husband? And God is telling me, like, Stargirl, pat down. I'm just like, so what you're saying is, because you didn't tell me no, what you're saying is he is my future husband, but, and then it's just chaos from then on. And one thing with God, He's going to check you. He is going to check you even if you don't want to be checked. Like, if He doesn't want you in a situation, best believe He's going to do all that He can for the situation to just dissipate, for it to metamorphosize into nothing. And at first you're gonna be like, oh my God, like, why did this happen to me? Why did this have to end? And then you realize, God, I realize why you did that. Like, if that was still going on, I don't know where I would be. I would be in a pool of chaos, a pool of confusion, a pool of a pool of misery, and I have seen that for sure in my life, especially when it concerns marriage and relationships and stuff like that. He really does come into a situation and does what he needs to do for you to get out, get away from, or whatever, because we have a purpose to fulfill, and the devil is going to use anything to distract us and derail us, but God is always going to try to make a way out for us to just get out of it and get back on track, you know? And that's something He did, especially with me, in concerns with relationships and wanting to be married and wanting to meet my future husband and all that different stuff. And because He was able to do that for me, I am able to really focus on my countdown to 25. So I am counting down to my 25th birthday. Oh wait, there's one other thing that I wanted to do in these next 3 years, which kind of links to what I've been talking about there just now. I want to personally develop myself in relation to becoming the woman that I want to be in a marriage. I didn't grow up in a house where I saw my mother and father interact as Christian parents and Christian married couple, and seeing that dynamic and them reason. I didn't grow up with that. I didn't necessarily grow up with that image of a married couple, and spending their life together, and I didn't grow up with that. So I know there's a lot for me to learn. There's a lot about marriage I don't understand, and maybe will never understand until I get married. But I want to prepare myself as much as the Lord allows me to, as much as it's possible, to become the person that I want to be in a marriage. I don't want to go into my marriage with trauma from when I was in high school, not doing it. I'm not saying that there may be some times where it might pop back up, and I'm just like, yeah, that is something I need to address. That is from 2015, and I need to rein myself back in. But I don't want to go in to my marriage with raw scars and raw bruises and raw cuts all over my spirit, man, that I have not allowed to heal, that I haven't worked at in order for them to heal. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go into my marriage with that on me, because then it will inevitably affect my relationship. I'm not saying that I wouldn't be trying to maybe patch up some of them while I'm in the relationship with the person before we get married, or if there are some things that I'm still going to have to patch up in the marriage, or I'm not even going to realize I need to patch up until I get into that relationship with that person. But I want, as much as is possible, to deal with all of the baggage that I have behind me, to deal with the cuts and the bruises and the scars that I have before I say, yeah, let me start looking for my future. Actually, let me start opening up myself and being ready, willing, able, and prepared for my future husband to come into my life. You know what I mean? And in all of that, I'm just trying to prepare myself for where I want to be. Now, in as much as I identify my number one ultimate goal in life is not to be married, it's still a goal of mine. It's something that I want to experience. I think I told my sister, and I have identified I do not need a man. Not in terms of not in terms of just in life. Like, if all the men in the earth were just to go away, I'd be okay. No. I'm just saying I don't need a boyfriend. I don't need one. It's not like with all one are dead. I've gone through. Like, that's not really it. But it's something that I want. Why? I want to be married to someone because I talk too much. No, I talk a lot. I won't say too much. I talk a lot. And I feel very deeply about a lot of stuff. I have a lot of ideas and points and thoughts and all of these things that just well up inside of me. I have so much emotions and so much stresses and fears and all these different things that I want to discuss with someone. Like, I get a therapist, like, that's cool. But you see that element of companionship and somebody who just listens to me, someone who I could confide in, and someone who really just listens to me. Because, guys, I feel like if I'm not ignored, if I'm not being ignored, sometimes I feel like I'm too annoying to be listened to. And I feel like I'm just annoying to other people sometimes. Here I am though with a podcast. But I feel like I'm annoying. Like, when I feel like I talk too much and it's annoying to other people, so I don't talk. But then it just kind of festers inside of me, and then I don't know where to put it. So it's so important for me to just have somebody who listens to me. And I feel like that's why I want a marriage. To just have somebody who supports me, lifts me up, listens to me, and vice versa. Because I'm really good at listening. I talk a lot, but I listen well. And I also very rarely forget. If you think I forgot, if I said I forgot, 7 out of 10 times I remembered. I just don't want to seem weird that I remembered, so I just pretend like, oh my god, true. So yeah, but I just want somebody who I could just talk to all day. We could laugh, talk, cry, all that different stuff together. And that's why I desire that companionship and that whole marriage thing, So I want to prepare for that. I don't want to be my old self. I don't want to be the person I am today in my marriage. I want to be better. I want to be the best version of myself at that moment to get into a marriage. Deal with all my trauma, deal with all my scars, deal with my relationship with God, because I feel like when you get into a relationship that goes to marriage, you need to be strong in your faith and you need to be strong in God, or else things could go left so quickly. It could go left so quickly. It will be so easy to give up. It'll be so easy when the rubber hits the road to just be like, yeah, I'll buy, bye. And I think with God, all of those things will be a little bit easier. You won't be exempt from it, but it will be a lot easier to deal with. And in addition to that, all of us know some toxic traits we may have. Not saying that you're toxic, love, but we all know some traits that we have that are not conducive to a healthy, sustainable relationship with anyone. Not just a romantic relationship, it could just be a friendship, but we know that it's not the best. Like, it's really not the best, and those are the type of stuff that I want to work on in the next 3 years. I really want to work on me. I want, when my future husband comes from wherever he comes from, God bless him. I pray for him every morning. But I want that when he comes from wherever he comes from, and he sees me, he's just like, wow, oh my gosh. You know what I mean? He needs to be in shock and in awe at the strong, beautiful, independent, God driven, God inspired, God made, just God filled, Holy Ghost filled, water baptized, Jesus is mine woman that I am. I hope what I just said there links up to what I started the sentence with, because I can't remember what it was. But I want him to be in awe of who I am, and vice versa. Like, I want to be in awe. I don't want to, like, just please, I beg. Please, Lord, I beg, allow me to be in awe. But I want that the individual that I am, not that it intimidates him or makes him uncomfortable, but I want that the power and the light that comes from me, that exudes from me, just has him speechless. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm however, let's clarify. That power and that light is not for him. It is not for him. It is definitely not for him. Like, don't get it twisted. I am not trying to become the best Christian I can be, the best faith I can be for my husband. Are you mad? No, it's not for him. It's for God. It's really for God, and it's really for the kingdom. I want that the power and the light that exudes from me I want that the power I want that the power and light that exudes from me is a tool in which I can use to bring people into the kingdom, and I want that same power and everything is something that my future husband sees and is like, that's the girl I've been praying for. Because I expect him to be praying for me. Like, in as much as I pray for him on a morning, he should be praying for me. And if he's not praying for me, red flag. Red flag. If he's not praying for me, then he's not my future husband. Period. End of discussion. But I wonder when he sees that power and that light, that he's just like, yeah, that's what I've been praying for. and I'm gonna go get a period. End the discussion. So the next 3 years of my life, guys, it's going to be a movie. It's going to be a cinematic masterpiece. It's going to be a roller coaster, and it's going to be a wild ride. And I'm excited for us to reach the end. Like, it's in a couple years. Well, maybe I can do a countdown on Instagram. That would be a good way for me to keep track of it, or just do a countdown somewhere till my 25th birthday. And this, my 25th birthday is going to be, my 25th birthday is going to be a movie, because I have to celebrate all of this. I have to celebrate the journey that I'm about to embark on, and I have to celebrate it. And I'm so excited. I hope you all are excited. I hope that even in me being excited to see myself grow, to see the things that I want to work on grow, and all those different stuff, that you're sitting back and thinking, I kind of I wanna do that. I wanna start to work on myself. You may not necessarily have an age in mind, and that's definitely okay. You might just say, you know what, I'm really just going to be working on myself. No age, I'm just working on myself. Because don't get it twisted, all these different things I'm working on are going to continue on to 25. But those are the things that I'm writing down and making plain, so I could keep a reminder of it throughout the years. But you may not have an age. You might just say, you know what, we're gonna work on this. This is gonna be our focus, and this is what we're gonna work towards in the years to come. And I really hope that someone is motivated by this episode to just get up and do something. Really work on that relationship with God that you feel like you're kind of lukewarm with, but you never really devote the time. You're just kind of going through the emotions because you have so many other things doing, and I want to read my Bible and I want to get into this. But it's like you say that Tuesday, and then by Wednesday morning you forget because you had to go down in town to go and get this paper, and you had to. So maybe now, with a little bit of encouragement and a little bit of inspiration, you can go after those goals that you've set for yourself and really just run with your goals. Get your life in order. Maybe you're like me and you have that desire to be married, and you feel like there's some things you need to do in order for that prayer of yours to become manifest, for it to just come to fruition. And I say go after it, guys and gals. Go after it. Go after it. Because listen, I don't want that as I'm doing this podcast, I am the only one growing. I want each and every person who listens to me, even if it's just after one episode, even if they keep up with me for every episode, I want that all of us grow together. I want that people could message me and be like, oh my gosh, Faith, after that last episode, I feel so inspired. I'm going to be working on this stuff. And maybe I might be following you and I'm seeing you just working on you, just running into another level, into your next level, stepping up to the plate. And I want to be able to say, we're growing. We're all growing as a family, as a collective, as a group of people. We are growing and we are glowing. Can I get an amen? Amen. As I say amen, and as we wrap up this lovely Back and I'm Better podcast episode, I just want to say a little prayer, as is customary of this podcast, to just close us off and to just kind of thank God for what we've discussed, the inspiration we've felt, the inspiration we found, and just allow Him to enter into us as we leave. So, all eyes closed, all heads bowed, however you would like to do it. Lord, I would like to thank you once again, I'd like to thank you for this podcast episode. I'd like to thank you for the things that I've been able to share, the conversation I've been able to carry out. And Lord, I pray that even as we wrap up this episode and we kind of really step into the new season of each of our lives that we're entering, I pray that you stay in the midst of it. Continue to divinely inspire and divinely guide us in the way that we should go. Lord, I pray that the people listening to me who maybe trying to figure out their purpose, maybe trying to figure out what they want to do in their life, what they want to do for you, how they want to advance the kingdom. I pray that you can continue to guide them on their purpose, continue to guide them into the direction that they need to go, the focus that they need to gain to maintain whatever you've given to them thus far when it comes to their purpose. Lord, I pray that you just do a new thing in their lives even now, and I pray that you just continue to stick with us in the midst of the ups and the downs, especially with myself as I enter this countdown to 25. I pray that you just stick with me, and in the same way you stick with me, you stick with those listening to me. And I just want to thank you for just being who you are, for just being you, for just being God, and for being good. I am grateful for you. We are all grateful for you. And I just speak a new blessing onto each and every person under the sound of my voice right now. And I pray that you just continue to protect them from dangers seen, unseen, and misunderstood. I just want to thank you. I just want to praise you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen, amen, and amen. Thank you guys so much for listening. It's been a lovely time on Faith Talk, and I'm gonna see you soon. Bye.